Welcome to the Electric Playground. Today on the show, we've got an early look at the next Skylanders game in the rundown.
Plus, the Magical Kingdom gets high-tech with Disney 3D Print Studio.
And then Jose puts Fury Road in his rearview mirror with a look at the new Mad Max video game. Also coming up, we dive bomb a review of Angry Birds 2, try to survive a coup d'etat in the new movie No Escape, and much more today on EP Daily. Brought to you by EB Games. I'm your host, Victor Lucas, bringing you the latest and everything cool every single day. The stock market goes up and down, but one thing that always goes up, the rundown. More and more Nintendo characters might be making their way to the big screen. Speaking with Forbes, Nintendo's Shigeru Miyamoto has confirmed that the company is starting to open up to the idea of films based on their franchises, and they're willing to partner with Hollywood for the first time in decades. Nintendo has been notoriously protective of their characters following the abysmal reception of the live-action Super Mario Bros. Movie in 1993, but the growing mainstream popularity of games has made them reconsider. Donkey Kong recently appeared in the Adam Sandler movie Pixels, but hopefully Nintendo will maintain a strong degree of creative control over future adaptations to ensure their quality. This isn't the only way that Nintendo has been making strides into new territory. They announced plans to create their first mobile games earlier this year, and they're partnering with Universal Studios to bring Nintendo-themed attractions to Universal parks across the globe. Looks like the Skylanders have found another way into your wallet. Activision has announced Skylanders Battlecast, a card game for iOS and Android devices. Instead of buying physical toys like the console games, players or their parents can buy physical cards to unlock new in-game characters. The cards will also be available to buy digitally, and the game itself is free to download. It will launch in 2016. The Skylanders series is already a massive success for Activision. The latest game, Skylanders Superchargers, arrives September 20th. Some good stories in the rundown today. Here to help me talk about them is my pal Scott Jones.
Thanks for having me, Vic.
We've got Nintendo movies on the way. That's what Nintendo has been percolating and buzzing about, and everybody's been speculating about recently. It looks like it's going to happen.
Now, we just saw Donkey Kong on the big screen in 3 dimensions. Very exciting moment, but I don't know what the rest of it's going to look like for Nintendo going forward. I'll tell you what I want personally. I want a full-length feature based on the Legend of Zelda world. Nintendo, can you please just start working on that? Don't work on anything else.
You want that live action?
I want that live action. I want somebody to take a chance and really go all the way, spend a lot of money, make something really epic and huge.
Peter Jackson-esque.
Yeah, maybe you could star as a Link.
Maybe I could.
I think you can do it. Yeah, you look good in those little elf hats.
I just got to grow my ears out a little bit more.
Okay, you can do that.
What other characters would you like to see? Would you like to see like a Star Fox space opera type thing, or
I don't know. Maybe a movie set in the Smash Brothers world. I don't know.
That would be insane.
There's so many options.
Like a good Pixels.
Yes, a good Pixels, and also you can make a car racing movie based on Mario Kart.
Oh my God, that would be hilarious.
I know, lots of great ideas.
Mario Kart animated movie, that would be so great.
If you need ideas, just come see Vic and Scott. We got them.
I dig that. I would also love a Metroid movie. That would be incredible too. All right, now in the Skylanders universe, they've got a mobile game that's coming out with cards. That's a money machine.
That's the business we're in, right?
Yeah.
Everybody's always trying to find the next tree that is in full bloom with money, and they want to shake that tree until the money starts dropping off of it. I feel like there's so much of it now that for me as a full-grown man, it's kind of white noise. Like that's kind of what I hear when I hear this kind of news. But it's very exciting for a lot of gamers out there, a lot of viewers of the show.
Well, and I think a lot of families too, right? Because this is a way in for parents to play with kids, and these games kind of they satisfy that.
I don't think you can get on an airplane in this time that we live without having one of those card games on your tablet.
Sure.
I think you have to have one.
Yeah, and e-cards or digital cards and physical cards, they're going to make a lot of money.
Nothing eats up the hours like those games.
Absolutely. All right, we got to move on. We've got something else that's going to eat up some hours. This is the Disney 3D Print Studio. Here's Marissa with more.
If you're like me, you'd like to imagine yourself as a stormtrooper or perhaps some kind of Marvel character. You can do that now with 3D printing, which is really cool, but I'll let you explain, Benjamin. So how does this work exactly?
Yeah, so you're at Disney Store 3D Print Studio. We're launching here at D23 for the first time. You can choose to be either Mouseketeer, Iron Man, or Stormtrooper, which is the new Stormtrooper from The Force Awakens.
Look, when you break it down, though, how many people actually want to be Mouseketeers when they could be a Stormtrooper?
Well, hey, we are at D23. We have some huge Disney fans here, so it's a great mix. Everyone's a winner. We don't play favorites. Disney, Lucas, and Marvel, we're all one big happy family. So we have something for everyone.
All right, that's fine. I'm just teasing you. The Musketeer looks really cool because you can actually put your name on it too, right?
Yeah, you put your name, and on the back of the t-shirt, you can pick black or white t-shirt because the white's classic, but some people like the black, a little more current. And then you can also do male, female. We also offer child, teen, and adult. So for the whole family, you can come and grab a little Musketeer action. And then Iron Man, you can just change your hair color in that suit. Same with Stormtrooper.
Oh, right. I was gonna ask if I could make her Iron Woman, and then you'd have to put some like chesticles, like there'd have to be some kind of chest armor.
Well, technically it is the same suit, right? We've seen it in the movies fly on to different folks, right? So we've seen Pepper have the Iron Man suit on there and no certain appendages change.
I know,
so
of course, I know. You know
don't get me in trouble
your
here.
Stuff. I'm not trying to get you in trouble. I'm only teasing, of course. I want the same suit exactly the way Iron Man would have it. I want one of these things. How do I go about doing it? I have to scan my picture. How does it work?
That's right. Well, first we want to make sure you know what you want. So when you get up to the register, that's an easy experience. You then come on over to the facial scan kiosks where you sit down and you get your face scan. It takes about 25 to 30 seconds. You pick your hair color, male or female. Pretty easy for you on that one. And then from there, you get it in 4 to 6 weeks. It's that easy. If you get Musketeer, you just put the name on the back and pick black or white shirt.
Okay, fair, but a lot of people aren't at D23, so how do they do that online?
Well, we can't do it online just yet. The technology that we really love, that quality technology, is best in person. And in about next year or two, we're going to have the technology that will be done hopefully from your home. But we are looking to look at 3D printing next year within Disney stores and perhaps have an online solution. It may not involve a Disney Store 3D Print Studio facial scanning, but it might have some sort of customization or personalization, like maybe you want to be Olaf in a new certain way and you have a certain message that says, I love warm hugs. And you can maybe have some of those sort of creations created.
So cute. It's like a little beanie unicorn.
Oh my God, I want one of those statues where I'm holding a Stormtrooper helmet or the Darth Vader helmet. How do I make that happen?
Listen, Vic, we got to take a break, but when we come back, our favorite apocalyptic warrior, Jose Sanchez, will be here. He's got the latest on the Mad Max video game after this. Welcome back to EP Daily. You know, Marissa, earlier this year, Mad Max had quite the moment in theaters.
Oh yes, it was quite an exhilarating theater experience, I must say. But guess what, Jones?
What's
Mad
that?
Max coming to video game form.
Here's Jose with the story.
One of the biggest action movies of the year was Mad Max, but now it's going to have its very own video game. Talking about Mad Max, the game, what are you guys going to bring in this tale of Mad Max, the game?
Well, we're going to try to bring the ultimate wasteland experience. We're going to try to give the players exactly what they would imagine that they would find in the world of Mad Max. And we also offer you the opportunity to be Mad Max and to build the ultimate wasteland war vehicle during the course of 50 plus hours of gameplay. In a wasteland that's dense with exploration and cool scrap and brutal enemies and crazy people for you to kill.
What is it like creating a world around the world that we saw from the film of Mad Max and bringing that into a video game?
The greatest challenge for us is certainly to fill a wasteland. A wasteland, just listening to the name, you hear it's empty, right? There's nothing there, and that's what it's all about. It's about survival. It's about scavenging through the ruins and stuff like that. But we have to fill every part of this wasteland with cool shit for you to explore, and it's a really, really big wasteland. I would say that's the greatest challenge for us.
How are you guys mixing the on-foot gameplay as to the driving behind a vehicle gameplay, and how are you going to make it feel fresh and different every time we get in?
There is such a diverse range of upgrades for you to do in the vehicle gameplay. Also a diverse range of different types of crazy-ass enemies. Combatants that will jump from their cars and attack your car and hang on to that car and try to get into the car and kill you while you're driving. And I don't think that it can ever get boring, and especially since you can an almost infinite number of different types of upgrades for your car. The on-foot gameplay is equally the same. It's just the more you play, the more interesting it gets. We're trying to weigh it so it has equal impact when you're playing, so that's what we're trying to do.
Tell me a little bit about how the on-foot combat is going to work. What is Max going to be able to do?
When we started talking about how Max would fight, we envisioned him as somebody who is very skilled at fighting, has, I would say, an amount of formal training, but an enormous amount of experience. His fighting style is that of a brawler more, but it's also somebody who effectively can take you out in an instant. We've had experts looking at it and stuff like that, especially during cutscene recordings, to get that kind of a vibe that this guy he can take you out anytime. But as far as battling other combatants, we just try to make it a very, very fun and engaging experience for you. And you will, of course, be fighting more than one guy at a time. For us, that has been our biggest challenge, to make that engaging and fun, make you feel like a badass, because that's what we really, really want to do. It's going to feel horrible to crack the neck of those guys and lay them down on your knees or shoot their belly out with a shotgun, but still you're going to feel like a badass. So it's a... It's like a lose-win kind of thing.
And with the driving elements too, it's not just you're creating an ultimate vehicle and just driving it around for show. You guys are adding some unique abilities to the cars themselves as well?
Yeah, sure, certainly. And also we got something we really got going for us is the Harpoon, which is something that's a little bit part of our heritage as a studio, because we made the Just Cause games before, and harpooning is what it's all about, really, that game. So we let that become part of this game as well, and it's really engaging gameplay, because you get to rip parts of armor off the other cars while you're driving, and these intense, high-speed car chases where you get that feeling you get killed in an instant if you do something wrong. And then you pick off armor and stuff from other cars, and then you open up their weaknesses, and then you can use your shotgun to blast them to hell.
Thanks, Jose. That was a terrific job. The game Mad Max comes out next week on September 1st.
For those keeping track at home. So listen, there was a game that came out on the App Store a long time ago that kind of took over the world.
Oh, I love this game.
Yeah, it's called Angry Birds.
Pigs versus birds.
Yes, there's a lot of different versions of that one game, but now there's a sequel. It's called Angry Birds 2. Here's the review.
EP's mobile coverage is brought to you by Gameloft, makers of Asphalt 8 Airborne, which you can play on your Android or iOS device for free right now.
Finally, guys, 6 years after the original Angry Birds, they've released a new one.
Yes!
Fine, I've been waiting for new Angry Birds forever.
Yeah.
And Angry Birds 2.
This is it. We finally got the 2, man.
All right, okay, look, it's ridiculous. This is the 15th Angry Birds, 16th Angry Birds,
Maybe.
14th,
15th, 16th.
25th Angry Birds game. I don't know why they decided to slap a 2 on this one.
Well, because all the other ones were kind of licensed. They had like a Seasons one, they did some Star Wars ones, they did some other ones, and now they're just like, this is...
No, Angry Birds Space, no license there. I guess they licensed Space
They
for
did.
that.
That was a space game.
I don't think so.
There's no space.
The first thing you're going to notice when you start playing this game, Jose, is that you didn't spend any money to get it working on your device.
There's a good start.
I think free is the new 4-letter F word for gamers. I mean, you hear free and you're like, well, wait a minute.
I gotta try it.
When are they gonna get me? And it turns out in Angry Birds 2, they get you over and over and over again.
They try to. I haven't spent any money on this game.
They try to get you.
They try to get you. You don't have to spend any money. You can play through the game. You have lives now, which is great. Every game's got to have lives. If you want to play more, you can either wait your time or you can buy some lives. I'll wait.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You can also watch a video. That's a new thing. You can watch an ad.
Yeah.
You can get another.
Which is like, I'll blow 30 seconds. I mean, but you can do that to get another life. You can do that if you run out of birds, because now that these levels are separated into level chunks, so it's like one level will have 3 sections or 4 or 5 sections in it, which can be a little bit frustrating, because now you also have the option to select one of your bird cards to choose which birds you want to use.
I like that. I think that's a good addition.
Yeah, I like the fact that you can, pick and choose how you want to play through the level. The problem is that these levels are a little bit procedurally generated. So with their original Angry Birds games, you could, sort of attack a level a certain way. You know what birds you have. You can figure out, damn it, I just missed 3 stars.
There was sort of a puzzle nature to it, because there was a way to play it where you beat it. My problem with the game, though, wasn't so much the level design or the procedurally generated levels and trying to get the highest score. It was the fact that after I would beat a level, or if I wouldn't beat a level, constant pop-ups and reminders and asking you for things, and you're just clicking just to get back. Where do I play the game? I would gladly pay $2 or $3 to get rid of all of it and just play the core game. It's a shame that they've piled all this crap onto the game, because the core game itself, the flinging of the birds and the graphics and the sound, it's better than it's ever been. Yeah. I mean, I think this is a really good Angry Birds game. I know it's like easy to write off Angry Birds. It's become such a phenomenon. There's like plushies everywhere. I have like a red bird spoon somewhere in my house. Like, there's just done it with the merchandising of this property, but the core game is still good. Oh, by the way, you tried that level and you died, and so now if you want to try it again, you got to wait a half an hour. I just feel like they gate everything in this game behind resources, behind little pop-up screens, behind Honey Nut Cheerios dudes. I don't get it, and I feel like if they trimmed all that out and sold this game for $3 or $4 or $2 or $3, I would have paid that money, gotten a really good Angry Birds game. I like the new additions with the different cards and being able to choose different birds. Yeah. I like the multi-stage levels. I like the fact that if you...
There's bosses.
There's lots of bosses, and it happens all the time. I like that when you get a high enough score, you actually get an extra card that you can use, so you're kind of rewarded for playing well. There's a lot of good stuff in here, and it's hard to get to that because it's so easy for us all to just talk about them trying to get all your money with a free game.
But in a way, I kind of dig it. I mean, the fact that there are lives, it means I can't play the damn game all day.
Well, I prefer when I get to make the decision on how much I want to play or not
Fine,
play a
Ben.
game. I don't like the fact that
Fine.
Rovio gated it.
Fine, Ben.
You can feel your way, I can feel mine, but we have to both feel a score for Angry Birds 2. Jose, give me a number.
Still a fun experience. I do agree that they could take down all the make me pay stuff. I'm giving this game 7 out of 10.
I'm going down to a 6.5. I still like it, but yeah, man, too much stuff in the way.
So Angry Birds still angry after all these years, just like you, Maris.
Oh, that's so sweet, Jones. You're always so nice to me. I hate birds, especially when they're angry. Don't go anywhere, because after the break, Scott and Vic have a movie review of No Escape.
Get out of the pool! Come here!
Welcome back to EP Daily. Get a load of these names. Pierce Brosnan, Owen Wilson, Lake Bell. 3 people that I want to spend time with, but do I want to spend time with them in a foreign country in the middle of conflict? I don't know. Let's find out from Vic and Scott.
There's a new movie in theaters. Vic and I went to see it. We have to decide if you should see it. It's called No Escape. It stars our old friend Owen Wilson, and his wife is played by Lake Bell, and they play a young couple that gets a new job in a faraway foreign land. The foreign land never designated clearly in the film. Unnamed foreign land. They're clearly out of their element going into this, and they encounter some difficulties right from the start.
A civil war erupts.
Get out of the pool! Come here!
Owen Wilson, who is playing part of an executive team at a new water facility in this unnamed country, gets caught right in the middle of it because there is a lot of hatred towards the foreign investors and the foreign owners of utilities that are in this country. And so he is hunted basically through the streets of this city, and he's got his wife and his 2 young daughters with him. And the movie really devolves into the most xenophobic sort of horror film that you can imagine, ripped right from all of the trashy headlines that you would read on Fox News or something like that. It turns into something like that.
I like Owen Wilson, but I don't know why he's playing such a serious role where there's so much drama. He's the guy who's got to convey all this.
Yeah.
My other problem is with the 2 girls. I don't like when kids are in trouble in movies.
Yeah.
I just feel like you can't get any cheaper than that. Like, how much lower can you go? And there's 2 girls who are in jeopardy for a lot of this film,
Yeah.
and I feel the
And they
whole
see the
theater.
worst.
I feel the whole theater wincing at how awful this is, and mostly I'm wincing at just how lowbrow the directors and the producers are to
Right.
decide that this was a good idea to put these kids in trouble. It is the lowest common denominator in action film language.
There's a tank!
This is trading on our fears of all of these terrorist activities that are happening all over the world right now and are percolating in all kinds of fashion across our news. And this is also trying to create a what-if scenario for any American, I think, really, sort of placing themselves out of context into a different country and preying upon their fears. I really had a sense of the terror and the dread and the world closing in and the people closing in. I mean, as a horror movie, as an exhilarating kind of ride through this preposterous stuff, it was really freaky. And I felt for those kids. I felt for the danger. I also thought that Lake Bell and Owen Wilson really delivered on their part of the performance.
Get to the roof!
It's an unfinished idea for a movie made by what appear to be student filmmakers. I know these people have made other films in addition to this, but it feels very juvenile. The politics are very juvenile. The point of view is very juvenile.
I believed in this family and I believed in their peril, but I didn't believe the peril that they created because it was so superficial and stupid.
You know, the start of the film has a lot of surrealist moments that I very much enjoyed, and I kind of kept hoping that the movie would just stay on that track and really embrace the surrealism. I remember at one point, Owen Wilson can't find a newspaper from the West, and so he starts searching for one through the city. I'm like, oh, we're off into strange territory here. And I thought, let's stay on that track. Let's keep going down that road.
Yeah.
Let's keep enjoying the surrealist kind of imagery.
And then it's just a bogeyman
And then it just
central.
turns into a bunch of bull.
Yeah, what are you going to give No Escape?
I'm giving it a 4 out of 10.
In the most generic title ever, I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. I
Okay.
liked it more than you.
Thanks, boys. I guess I won't be traveling with those 3 anytime soon. Don't go anywhere because after the break, we've got the Twitter question of the day.
If you want more EP, go to our website, epn.tv, for bonus content and full episodes. We're also on Facebook and Twitter. Welcome back to the Electric Playground. It's time for our Twitter question of the day. This one's from our old pal, Kyle Chenard, at Mr_Precision. Would EPN like to, one day, produce or develop their own video games?
What a terrific question. That is exactly your 100th terrific question on the show. Congratulations, Kyle. Listen, I got to tell you, I have no interest in making any video games. Is that something EPN's going to be doing?
I think we would go to jail, wouldn't we? We would go to, like, editorial jail if we made our own video games.
I feel like we know too much about video games at this point. We have too much inside knowledge. I don't know. I mean, you've had aspirations.
I worked in a game studio. I was a designer at Black Box Games.
That was the last time you aged.
A long time ago, yeah.
A long time ago.
And sure, it would be amazing to live an alternate sort of life and make games. I think that'd be a lot of fun, but I don't think you can do both at the same time. It's really unethical.
Our attention spans, I think, are too short. We like to get something new and move on to something new the next day.
That's why it's daily, right? But if somebody out there wants to make an EPN video game, by all means, that would be super cool. Remember, you can ask us questions and get caught up on the show at epn.tv.
That's it for today's show, but coming up tomorrow, we take a closer look at the Wookieepedia, not Wikipedia, Wookieepedia. Don't miss it. Thanks for watching, everybody.
Chewie, we're home. EP would like to thank its sponsors, Nintendo, Xbox.
So what exactly is Wookieepedia? How does this put together Star Wars fans and make them more knowledgeable within the Star Wars universe?
Well, Wookieepedia is probably the most extensive Star Wars resource online. I mean, even more extensive, quite frankly, than StarWars.com. We're celebrating our 10-year anniversary, and over the course of those 10 years, millions of people have come together to basically chronicle everything there is to know about Star Wars.